Jupiter online. It's been a couple of days. There are a few things to talk about. I've been finding my voice is getting wrecked after doing these. I hope it's worth it. I mean, is anyone even listening? You know? I could be a fucking ghost. I'm digital now. Eternal. This could be fucking centuries after these are uploaded. I've been talking about wanking. Well, I'd worked it out, and I hadn't actually used my voice in about 3 weeks before the first recording. I couldn't understand why I was getting razor blades after doing a log, and I realised, that I hadn't spoken for ages. Like, there's literally no need, really. I mean, it's probably good that I haven't, or I'd just be talking to the fucking chair there. Why is there even 2 chairs? I'm never going to understand that. I suppose I do put my feet up on it. I guess there's that. Anyway, so I'm leaving it a day or so between logs to help with that, if that's okay, techie. I'm going to go ahead and presume it is. So, updates. I've had to put the data from the Ganymede orbit back into deep cold. For context, or those whom skipped orientation, that's what we call the computer mainframe. It's about 30 or 40 feet below me in space because cold, and cold makes computer happy or something, or it keeps us from getting bored and fucking around the programming, like setting up disco lights or something. I mean, I wouldn't go down there for shit anyway, for multiple reasons. Should get the results soonish. There was a lot of data. Like, what was happening with Jupiter's fuzzy core and the upper atmosphere was actually mind-blowing. Like, there was these huge structures in the weather, like, interacting and then and resonating, like, with Ganymede. Like, there's some frequencies going back and forth. Honestly, I have no idea, but there's something to it, and I know it's hyped as shit. So, like, when first layer analysis came back and just didn't make a lick of sense, like, which potentially means something fun is happening, but I had to put it back in. So hopefully, round 2, we get a KO. Happy days. I'm just going to throw a metric fuck ton of 4-leaf clovers down the hatch for good luck. I feel like there was a bit of a letdown, not getting the answers, like a damp squib, or I don't know. But what's the word for something you're looking forward to, and then it just feels a bit empty and shit. Kind of like post-wank shame, but worse. There's no point hiding or lying to you, is there? I mean, that was shit, but it's not why I feel shit. I mean, that fucking colouring book, I just can't. I don't understand why they would put that in there. It's not. I mean, it's pretty fucked up. And I mean, I don't know is it like reviewed before it's sent over? I mean, there's no human stationed on Callisto to review it. It's just some AI. But is it just spaffing it out? Is the AI just combining the data from like the tests and the interviews and like my history and like newspaper articles and just stringing together random inputs and without compassion or emotional intelligence, just like making fucking random lines until it's satisfied that it can be coloured in, like regardless of the emotional impact it might have on the isolated, extremely remote, struggling, I don't know, fucking subject, serial number, not fucking human. Title: Jupiter JMS00E438, colouring book V3. Subtitle: Emotionally Wounding. I mean, that wasn't the actual title, but I haven't picked it up since. Fucking worried about what I'll see. It's actually dangerous. If I hadn't been feeling great, it's hard. should probably say something to them. If other people get, like, if something's gone wrong with it, maybe I could send a letter. That's not much point. Still no chain, still no real comms. A letter would take literal months to arrive to nowhere, I guess. And there's still no real word from Earth or the colonies. I mean, yeah, it's to be expected, but it will take time to rebuild the network. But I would be fucking lying if I said the thought hadn't crossed my mind. You know? Level 4, it's no joke. You know, a solar flare like that. I mean, you heard the emergency broadcast. You know, the shielding should survive. I mean, all it would take is one LEO satellite. Like third-party, obsolete, like a data mining satellite, or the old fucking comm scanner. What was it? Back in 23 or something? Because they're all up there. The government, they didn't take them down. They just locked them into orbit. They incarcerated all the cartel and CEOs, but it wasn't cost-effective to bring them down. Central's probably just started using them, to be honest. But all it would take is the shielding on one of them, on those cheap pieces of shit, if they even have shielding to fail, like fry the navs, orbit decays, 1,000 feet, 3,000 feet, 6,000 feet, and a silent impact in space. 2 satellites collide into a whirlpool of twisted cables, shattered solar cells, fiber optics, and metal wrapping around each other, scattering bolts and space debris, and like fucking firing a shotgun in space, those little pellets of metal cascading at thousands of miles an hour through the satellite belt. Fucking chain reaction, and within 2 hours you have a proliferating swarm of shrapnel whirling around the Earth at like thousands of miles an hour, an impenetrable shield of man-made micro-asteroids, and there's no getting in or out of that. Everything disintegrated on a shift in its direction, added to it even, making it more fucking impenetrable. Or geomagnetic storms, like frying every unshielded power grid, that comms system, the skylift, and Earth is in the Stone Age. But I'm still in a fucking box, waiting for a message that's not going to come, supplied by an automated factory sat on Callisto, my only fleeting companion's fucking drones, until I die. Fuck, that's bleak. Maybe I should tell you. Huh? But I don't know, would you even pass it on? Is that like part of the reason you're doing this, or are you just interested in the stress factors during a cluster event? I mean, I know these aren't broadcast, like these are only going to be heard when everything is over, so if everything is over. Well, hey Tech. Yeah, there's no one behind you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. The AI is making images that not fit for purpose. Maybe check into that. Because like all the tests, all the interviews, me telling you every fucking facet of my life, it was meant to create a daily, positive, emotionally balancing thing. And that was not. I want to speak to your manager. Sorry. We cool? Okay, I promise. I promise. Yeah, I did think it was a bit odd at first, to be honest. Like a colouring book, a page a day, gods. You know, I can fucking picture it, right? You have a boardroom full of pricks, suited up to their fucking eyeballs, all veneers and like hollow tats. Fucking hell. Now, I can understand it. Obviously we are here for a long ass time, and some hipster yuppie like yupster thought it would be a good idea to give us something, I don't know, like really simple to do each day that would be like a creative outlet and like fucking boost productivity or shit. like something to occupy the headspace that like isn't too taxing to the mind, but has like a net positive outcome, I guess. Something to keep us from thinking about the fact that everyone we know have known, loved is millions and millions of fucking miles from us. We don't even know the other JMSs. Like, yeah, that's by design, but like, so we don't try and reach out and make contact. I mean, it is quite like nice, I guess, to know that there are other people near. But you know, I think they used to, like, when the program started, like, have people who did like train together and then go on to the stations, but after like the end of year 2, like or a few months into year 3, they all started fucking freaking out. Like, comms started to get erratic, like tonal shifts and just like garbled, you know, messages started to come back, and they had like this, and I should say this is all rumor, you know, allegedly, but like a slow, creeping, intense fucking loneliness, which obviously, because fucking vibes. Some of them, they put on their spacesuits and just fucking tried to jump to the other stations. Obviously didn't work. So yeah, now we don't know each other, and our positions are hidden, so we don't know if we're near or far from each other, or how many there are. Maybe there's none. Yeah, it's just a play by Central to make us, to make me feel a fucking % less lonely. I mean, it makes sense that they put the suits next to the airlock. I mean, but you see it every fucking day, and I can understand the temptation, you know. Like, sat right here, like, the design hasn't changed. This is literally what they would have sat in, like the viewfinder in front of me, like the terminal station, the extra fucking chair, the food bay, the med bay, the hatch to deep cold, the shower that never fucking works. I stink. I fucking stink. Like, I can smell myself, but why would I care? No one's here. My cot and then the airlock and the suit, and that's it. Like 10 foot by 10 foot. It's fucking claustrophobic, you know. I can walk around the small space in between all that, and like the exercise bike, I have to pull from the ceiling. I mean, that's a fucking ball ache. But sometimes I turn grav off and just turn all the lights off and leave the view open. That's nice. That's nice, actually. Just weightless, dark, just stars and the big fella looking out over you. Like, obviously not while I'm meant to be monitoring, Techie Dearest. How could you say that? It's outrageous. So yeah, the fucking colouring book. The first one was amazing, actually. Like, it had these really perfect things in there, like things that made me smile, things that made me remember places and smells, and things that like made me sploosh, but we covered that in the last log. My favourite was this. It was MU graduation. It had a view of me sitting, and Steve was there, and Alessa, and Anora. you could tell that I was on meds. It was in my eyes, and I remembered it so vividly. And then the next day, it was like me approaching the stadium. Stadium? Is it stadius? Is that the word? Podium. And the day after that was like a close-up of my taking the little plastic diploma thing. So it was like a comic book, like graphic novel kind of thing, I guess, like a procedural, whereas all the other ones have been like random one-page things. And then after that, there was like a wide view of the auditorium, and everyone had voted for the cathedral setting. Like vintage architecture was just really hyped at the time. I think it was because like our actual place was so sterile and like spacey, but I swear it was like something from Daggerheart, or those old wizard streams, you know, all arches and stained glass and stone and timber beams. Fucking timber beams. I hadn't seen anything other than metal, plastica, and some carbon shit. So seeing timber was just... It made me feel very special, you know? Then the next panel was like, zoomed in on like the pews, and it was just close, and I could just like make out in the sea of faces, I could make out my dad. And then like the next day, it was a close-up of his face. And it was his usual, like, stoic, slightly pained face. Then just the next one was focused in on his, like, stubbly chin and mouth. And the next panel, he cracked just a fucking hint of a smile, a fucking crumb of a smile. I hadn't seen him smile for, oh God, I don't even know. Then the next panel was there's a close-up of his eyes, and they were like welling up, and I just fuck. I spent hours looking at that. The pride, the hope, the admiration, the respect, that's my boy achieving his goals, glint in his eye, and I never saw that, you know, not for real. I couldn't, not his fault, but God, it fucking killed me. But it was also so warm, and it was. But as I was colouring in, I couldn't remember the colour of his eyes, and did you put it out?